Hi, and welcome back to Pinky Boo Hauntings. I'll be your witchy host, Shy, and I'll be your guide to all things paranormal, weird, and spooky. I know by the time this episode comes out, we'll be long past it, but did we all survive the winter apocalypse they said was coming? I'm honestly disappointed. People bought into the stories, and for what? Nothing. Don't get me wrong, I've lived in the South my whole life. I know how this goes, but I usually at least get some good snow out of it. So, while I knew it wasn't going to be nearly as bad as they were saying, I was expecting to see maybe a few inches of snow. Plus, I had a vision of a good snowstorm coming, so I may have got my hopes up that this was it. Still think it's coming, but still, I just want some snow that covers everything. Anyways, if you were some of the lucky few that actually got some snow, I hope you stayed safe and didn't have any exploding trees, because I learned that's a thing that can happen in super cold weather. That's a neat thing to learn about. But yeah, I do hope you stayed safe, stayed warm, and didn't have to go out unless you had to. Well, unless you're from the north. I know you guys are used to that kind of stuff and probably laughing at how the south acts when we get snow. But we're just not built for that kind of stuff like you. We can't drive in any kind of winter weather. Oh, actually, I have a little update about that snow. It was kind of a week late, so I guess my vision did come true. It looked exactly like it too. So I guess I got my wish. Plus, I guess I got a little mini vacation out of all of this. So it's a win-win either way. Alright, sorry. Let me stop rambling on about the snow and let's get on to the stories. This Christmas story is for sure going to warm us up. It's called My Mom Wrote the Wrong Name on a Christmas Place Card, and it revealed a family secret. I swear on everything that this is a true story. This happened just a few weeks ago on Christmas Eve at my parents' house. I've only changed the names for privacy. For context, my brother is married to Amanda. My mom wanted to bring the families together, so she invited Amanda's mother, Diana, and Amanda's sister, Isabella, to join us for dinner. To organize the seating arrangements, my mom decided to be a bit formal and write everyone's name on a little card, placing them on the plates. She set it up so that my sister in law's mother and her sister would be seated next to each other. Here is where it gets weird. When my mom was writing the card for Isabella's seat, for some reason she still can't explain. When my mom was writing the card for Isabella's seat, for some reason she still can't explain, she didn't write Isabella. Instead, she wrote the name Amber. She just placed it on the table without realizing what she had done. When everyone went to sit down, Diana looked at the place setting next to her, saw the name Amber on the card, and immediately burst into tears. It turned out that Diana had another daughter named Amber, who passed away tragically when she was only 5 or 6 years old. Oh my god, no! Of all the names to mindlessly put there, it just so happened to be your daughter that passed away. God, her heart must have broke immediately. That poor mom. The thing is, no one in my family knew this. We had no idea Amber even existed, and my mom had absolutely no knowledge of this history. There was no way for her to have confused the names because she didn't even know the name Amber to begin with. We were all left in shock. since there is no logical explanation for how my mom pulled that name out of thin air. We can't help but feel it was a sign, maybe a little nudge from a spirit to let her mom know she was with us that night. Has anyone else experienced something like this? That definitely was a sign. If your mom or any of your family didn't know about that name or the person it was attached to, I don't believe it was just a coincidence. I don't know about you guys, but the odds of that are so slim. This was probably the daughter's way of letting her mom know she was with them. Maybe she was feeling nervous and her daughter just wanted to reassure her that everything was going to be fine. Probably didn't plan on her mother breaking down. Or maybe she did. I don't know. If it all made you closer as a family, who's to say she didn't do it on purpose? All I know is that more than likely, this is a sign from her. While this family seemed to have a shared experience, this next person seems to be alone in theirs. Their story is called The Story No One Believes. Alright, grab a snack because this one is a long one. One day, I was about 14 to 16 years old, I think, was watching the family dog, Athena Husky. I kept hearing creaking around the house and listened closely, and I swear I heard footsteps, which is weird because no one is home. So I woke up Athena to see if she would react to the sounds. She seemed very unsure, like uneasy. I start to freak out and call my best friend B, same age. B, I am really scared. I think someone is in the house. Instead of calling 911 because I was gaslighting myself, but also because I know that there has always been paranormal activity in my parents' house. I was about to say, why would you call your best friend instead of the cops? But if you're used to there being paranormal activity, I can get that. Also, I'm saying this like I didn't do the same thing when I was hearing footsteps in my haunted house. I did have a machete with me as I walked the house with my mom on the phone. So yeah, I can't judge others for not calling 911. Haunted house or not. I did the same stupid thing at that age. B said something on the lines of, I am babysitting my sister. If I come help, I would have to bring her. I said, dude, I'm freaking out. I need you here, or something like that. B comes into the house with her sister Kay, about 8 to 10 years old. Not you inadvertently dragging her little sister into a horror movie setup, too. We both grab knives and go to the basement. We worked our way from the bottom to the top and cleared each room. Ha! I'm happy you got a weapon finally. Because there is always a chance it's a real person, and it's better to have something than nothing, just in case you encounter that. As we neared the second floor, I could hear footsteps, but quietly. I start to feel really uncomfortable and ill. B went first into my parents' room and cleared it. We need to check the attic, B yelled. And I said, we have to search every room first. We start to walk towards my room, my brother's room, and our washroom. They were side by side. My room, his room, washroom. As B walks out of my parents' room, my door, my brother's door, and the washroom slammed shut. Keep in mind, no windows were open and no windows in the washroom. I was hanging on to Kay for dear life, and we jumped so high that I felt heaven. We opened the washroom, nothing. My room, nothing. My brother's room, no one. But not nothing. My brother has an addict in his closet, and so does my parents. So we check my brother's, but it doesn't move. We took videos on Snap while we took a hanger and tried to push up on the attic some more. I swear it moved like 1 centimeter, but nothing more. Wait, what moved? The hanger or the cover to the attic? We went to my parents' room and pushed, and it looked like it was glued shut. We start to calm down, and B and her sister leave. Also, I might be proven wrong in a minute, but I don't understand how this is a story no one believes. Because not only do you have two other people witnessing this with you, but you said this house was haunted, so I assume your family has experienced things too. I guess I wasn't expecting other witnesses to this story. Now, fast forward. I think it's about a year or so later. My father was in Latvia. My father is in the military. My brother and his girlfriend were over at the house. I was on Skype with a person named Jay, and I said I felt so uneasy, like someone was watching me. Jay, well, we're on Skype. Maybe that's why. Me, I think I can hear someone, but everyone is asleep. I look over to my dogs. Now we have two, a German Shepherd named Still and Athena the Husky. Still was about 130 pounds, purebred German Shepherd. He looked extremely scared, and Athena kinda hid behind him. My mom sleeps with the door open when my father is away or overseas, so the dolls can walk around and protect the house. I felt really bad, but I tried to push both of the dogs out, and they hardcore refused. If you're feeling something and the dogs are clearly feeling something, I hate to say it, but something is probably there. Like brakes were on every single leg. They were not moving. I literally said, I am so sorry, but you need to protect mom. Still and Athena reluctantly left my room, and as they left, Jay and I heard stomping, but running up the stairs extremely fast, so I closed my door and lock it. I listened closely. The stomps ended at the top of the stairs, but now there's footsteps coming towards my room and my brother's room. I shit you not, the footsteps stopped at my door. It felt like it was 20 minutes later, but it was probably 2 minutes. I could hear the footsteps back away from my door, and I was like, hey, I need to go and get some sleep. I can't deal with this right now. Next morning, my mother is talking to my father on the phone. I swear I heard my mom say, babe, it sounded like someone was in the house last night. I even felt someone sit on the bed, and when I looked, no one was there. So, does your parents not talk to you about this stuff? Because if you did hear that, it kind of sounds like they know, but maybe they're trying to keep it from you kids. Maybe it was to protect you all. Hours later, I decided to look around the house and see if anything moved. Everyone is gone, and I'm at home, alone. I even checked my parents' room and my brother's room. I went into my brother's room with my heart beating out of my chest, looked around, and was like, okay, nothing moved. Let's check the closet. Everything seemed to be fine and normal until I looked up. The attic that was once in my brother's room is now gone. I called B and she said something like, no fucking way. We told everyone, my brother, me, B, K, and my mother, remembers there was an attic. But my father says there was never an attic and gets extremely defensive about it. That sounds like your dad knows something, but doesn't want to admit it. I do wonder how it's just gone though. That shit is kind of crazy. So, remember how we took videos on Snap? Well, I asked B to send them to me so we could prove to my father there was an attic. The videos don't load and haven't ever loaded since the attic disappeared. My father has now convinced my mother that there wasn't an attic in my brother's room. Side note, I got to pick rooms when we moved from the last time because my brother picked the room in the last house. I went into both rooms and checked them out. I walked into Brothers and saw the attic and immediately says, "Well, that's easy. I picked the other room. I don't want to have an addict in my room." Till this day, that addict has remained missing. I honestly have no idea if anyone will believe me, but this actually happened. Another side note, I used and sometimes still do ghost hunting. I have ghost hunting equipment and have picked up multiple ghosts and entities, especially in my parents' house. My favorite one is named Dave. He lives in my closet. One time he got me into trouble during a sleepover. Basically, you know the Victoria's Secret dogs? Well, it went flying and hit my wall, and my mom stomped to my room and said, "Be quiet, I'm trying to sleep." This is when I started looking into ghost hunting equipment. I don't know what to say about that attic. If you believe in that kind of stuff, I guess it could have been a timeline jump. Maybe your dad isn't from the same timeline as you guys. So obviously, he wouldn't remember, and him being so insistent about it made your mom and brother second guess themselves. The other possibility is that he was gaslighting you all. Maybe he knows about the paranormal going ons, but just doesn't want to admit it to you all. I will say, your house does seem to be really haunted, and I think it's so cool that you get to go ghost hunting. It must feel not only nice to get that validation, but also to be able to talk to the ghost in your house. Something weirdly satisfying about it, right? We're going from one haunted house to another. Our next story is called There is at least one ghost in my house. The house I'm living in isn't very old, built in 2010, and has only one previous owner, who was a canine police officer. I have been helping out family by letting them stay with me while they took for a new place. While they've been staying with me, they have seen a ghost of a woman pacing the hallway in the basement of the house. Doing some research, we found out the woman they've been seeing in the basement is a lady in her 50s who was shot and killed by the officer while he was on duty. They've also been hearing people walking around upstairs at night, even though everyone is asleep. One of the family members that is staying with me has also mentioned that while passing one of the bathrooms in the hallway upstairs, they've seen a ghost of an old man who appears to be sitting on the bed. Okay, so I'm sure we're all thinking it, but it sounds to me that cop was being haunted by those he killed. I don't know what went down to get those people killed, but he's definitely being haunted. By what is the real question? Because I could see this being the actual spirits that are haunting him for what he did, and I could also see this being like his guilt haunting him. So now that I think about it, if it was the guilt, you'd think it would have stuck with him. I guess you could say the same thing about the actual spirits. I just could see them hanging around in the house more than if it's the manifestation of his guilt. But what do you think? Do you think it's a spirit of those he killed, or could it be something I didn't say? Let me know what your ideas are. Well, once again, I've run out of stories for today. I hope you enjoyed them, and I'm hoping to bring back deep dives soon. I'm working slowly to get the script together for the first episode, but I might get a few together before I go posting them. They take more time to get the info together and, of course, writing the script. So I swear they are coming back. I just want to get these planned out so that I have a buffer between them so I'm not feeling so rushed to get them out, or worse, falling behind on them. Sorry, I didn't mean to go rambling like that. Anyways, you probably know what I'm about to say, but remember to leave a review and rate the podcast if you're enjoying it. And like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Oh, and of course, if you have a story you'd like to share, send it to me. The email is in the show notes in the description below. For now, the coven is adjourned. See you next time. Bye.